Guest. Also, COCOBOT CEO says the organization is taking steps to ensure full compliance with European Union regulations on permissible levels of chemical residues in cocoa beans. And much later, residents and health officials in the Shama municipality are calling for the completion of an abandoned 80-bed hospital to boost healthcare delivery. Many thanks for joining us this morning. My name is Safwa Abwahina. Now let's settle for the details now to first story. It's been over 6 months since the official opening of the 97.7-kilometer Tema-Mpakadan railway line. But the much anticipated service remains inactive, leaving commuters disappointed and raising questions about the future of railway system or transport in Ghana. The acting chief executive officer of the Ghana Railway Development Authority, Dr. Frederick Apport, tells my colleague Joseph Armstrong that full commercial operations could begin in August this year.
The standard gauge railway, inaugurated with fanfare by former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on November 22, 2024, was seen as a major step in revitalizing Ghana's rail network. Constructed at a cost of $447 million with financing from the India Export-Import Bank, the line was designed to improve passenger and cargo transport along the Eastern Corridor. It features newly constructed stations at Adome, Pong, Doyumu, Jokpanya, Kodiabe, Shai Hills, Afienya, Ashaiman, Tema Industrial Area and Tema Port, plus a 300-meter rail bridge over the Volta River near Senchi. The line is also part of the Ghana-Burkina Faso interconnectivity project, aiming to link Tema Port to the inland port at Mpakadan, with hopes of improving trade routes to northern Ghana and landlocked countries like Burkina Faso and Niger. Speaking with TV3, the acting chief executive officer of the Ghana Railway Development Authority, Dr. Frederick Apport, said the start of commercial operations had been held back by repeated incidents of theft and vandalism. According to him, about 75% of the damage has so far been repaired as part of a mitigation effort being led by the Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communications.
We as an authority encountered the severity of the thefts in terms of the signal boxes being taken, metal scraps for the boat and not scrap dealers have just vandalized most of the aspect of the railway network. Since then, the authority have taken the pragmatic approach to replace most of these things. We are about 80% complete, with the exception a couple of weeks ago, we also had a fiber optic cable stolen, which was up to about a kilometer of it taken off. I'm very optimistic that we should replace that by Monday. We should be done.
According to him, the GRDA is developing what he described as an open access model for the Tema-Mpakadan line, which will involve setting out track access charges and operational guidelines to attract private operators, adding full commercial operations could begin in August this year.
I'm confident that 6 to 8 weeks we should be there. What we need to do is to make sure that the rectification works that we are doing in terms of works by the GRDA are complete. Tema-Mpakadan can run today, but the question we have to ask ourselves is, if you run a train today, is it safe to do so? And it's important as an authority to make sure that before we do so, we have put everything in place. We are providing security along the route to prevent people encroaching the right of way.
Until then, commuters and businesses along the Eastern Corridor will have to wait a little longer for the reliable rail service they were promised.
Let's still remain a bit more on transport, because government's plans to legalize and regulate tricycle operators have been lauded by both riders and patrons. However, the growing indiscipline and frequent disregard for traffic rules by many riders remain a major concern. The public wants authorities to address these issues before formalizing the legalization.
Under Ghana's 2012 road traffic regulations, LI 2180, the use of motorcycles and tricycles for commercial passenger services remain prohibited. Yet, in recent years, tricycles have transformed public transportation in many parts of the country, providing affordable and convenient mobility for commuters. Despite their illegal status, the tricycle business has become a major source of employment for many young people in Kumasi and beyond. President John Dramani Mahama, in his first State of the Nation's address, hinted of plans to amend the regulations to legalize commercial tricycles and motorcycle operations. Ahead of the potential legalization, tricycle operator associations have stepped up engagement with their members to promote compliance and proper conduct.
About the need to get license and also the need to be part of the bigger union so that it will become easier for the government to regulate our activities. It can also help us to be able to track those who will be recalcitrant among us and would like to use the tricycles for bad intentions. The government is very committed to doing it, and we are also going to give them the assurance that we will not disappoint the government. We are more than prepared to embrace this legalization.
The engagement comes amid growing public concern over rider misconduct and frequent violation of traffic regulations.
We have underage among tricycle riders, which is not good or it's not appropriate for underage to ride. And we also have a certain age that you are supposed to reach before you can operate as a commercial rider, which is 21.
The National Road Safety Authority is actively supporting the initiative. The authority is urging riders to adopt safer practices.
Of course, the challenge that we have had with tricycles over the years is something that we are all looking at to holistically put those chaos that we used to see behind us. Our message has been that if you must ride, ride safely. Always obey traffic regulations. Make sure you're not riding on the shoulder of the road. The middle of the road is not meant for tricycles, pagia, motorcycle, and the rest.
The campaign aims to instill discipline among riders while paving the way for formalized regulations in the sector.
This is indeed a major concern for most drivers who use the road often. But let's now take you to Cocoa Board, where the Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Randiabi, says the organization is taking steps to ensure full compliance with the European Union regulations on the permissible levels of chemical residues in cocoa beans. He raised concerns about the activities of illegal miners who use harmful chemicals such as cyanide and mercury. Dr. Abi spoke with Kemini Amano on hot issues.
There's the EUDR, which is the EU deforestation regime. And the deadline is actually 30th of December. But I can assure you, 2 days ago, people from the European Commission were at our office to meet us. I've met with the EU ambassador and another team. They are impressed with where we are so far. I mean, our system is up and running. We're running with some 8 of the LBCs. And we have a traceability system, you know, where you can actually trace every batch of cocoa to the actual farm where that cocoa was harvested. We have that system in place. And so we are more than ready to deliver on the EUDR, and we intend to use it when we start our 25-26 season. The deadline is 30th of December. We're sure that we'll meet that particular deadline. On the issue of the child labor, we have a system, and we are dealing with those issues. We're ensuring that the farmers are also educated. So we're ensuring that we do not have what you call hazardous thing where the kids are doing things that are dangerous, like dealing with agrochemicals or actually carrying loads that are more than 20% their weight size and all those things. Under the World Bank project, we're working with the Gender Ministry and all that on issues of child labor and the Ministry of Labor Relations as well. So I think that we are quite compliant on these issues, and we should be fine. Japan has a requirement, which is that we test for heavy metals, including lead. So we have a lab at TEMA, the quality control lab, which also has to test for those that are going to Japan. So we are even ready, such that if Europe even decides to do that, but this testing only deals with ensuring that the beans that are exported do not contain these heavy metals or these contaminants and all that.
Well, let's see how this pans out. But bringing you some more stories, the presiding bishop of Methodist Church Ghana is calling for a bipartisan action against illegal mining. Most Reverend Professor Johnson Kwabena Samuel proposes a cross-party committee to tackle the menace following a 6-day visit to Takwa Diocese, where he witnessed a devastating impact.
Haven't complained so much about Galamsey. A way will be found to deal with it. We can't talk about this menace without blaming our political leaders and politicians, because sometimes they give the impression that if you give us the mandate, we are going to help you to do it in a decent manner, but they are never able to come up with any solutions. So for especially the two political parties who have governed this country since 1992, the NPP and NDC, I think this is something that we have to approach in a bipartisan manner. Politicization of such things do not help any country. Now I'm looking for the day in which we'll have a cross-party committee that deals with it so that we remove the politics from it, because it's the future of our country, it's the future of our children. So amidst the joy and the exuberance of worship, I think this is one thing that I would say is a downside.
Let's now take you to the Western region, where the Regional Minister Joseph Nelson has directed the Ghana Water Company Limited to quickly demarcate the Daboase treatment plants, buffer zones and halt illegal activities within them. This, he believes, can help protect the 70 million euros water expansion project, which will supply 22 million gallons water per day to Sekondi, Takoradi and surrounding communities from encroachment. Irama Smith has more in this report.
The Daboase and Intraban water treatment plants, which serve Sekondi, Takoradi and surrounding areas, are facing significant challenges in meeting the growing demand for clean water, despite their combined capacity of 10 million gallons per day. Illegal mining activities have increased water turbidity, reducing production from 6 million gallons per day at the Daboase plant to just above 16,000 gallons per day. The water supply is further threatened by encroachment on buffer zones protecting the water source, especially during the dry season. Gideon Ano is the Western Regional Production Manager at Ghana Water Company Limited.
Up there, you can see the level of encroachment on the buffer zone. Absolutely, the buffer zone is gone. And we know that means this river will start to dry up more than what we used to witness even in the dry season. And that for us, having a 100,000 meter cube plant, a day capacity going to sit down idle, that would be most unfortunate. So there you can see the level of encroachment which is going on.
Western Regional Minister Joseph Nelson, during his familiarization visit to the Daboase treatment plant, directed Ghana Water Company Limited to demarcate buffer zones urgently. The move follows claims of ignorance by landowners. The minister also instructed local chiefs to halt any planned activities within the designated zones.
The chiefs who sold that portion of the land are claiming ignorance, that they didn't know that that is a buffer zone. Okay, so if we still have buffer zone, some portions still intact, I will urge that you put some posts there to tell the public, any other person who will want to, go there, that this is a no-go area, basically. I think you should do that. It will help.
Thank you.
And then beyond that, if they still overlook it and want to encroach, of course, the law will deal with them. But with this one, I think DC, I think you should take it up with the chiefs. And now they know that what they have done there is illegal, because that is a buffer that is supposed to protect the river. Even though they've cleared there, they should not develop it.
The Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources and GWCL launched a 70 million euros water expansion project in Sekondi, Takoradi in May 2022, of which the Austrian firm Strabag was contracted to build a 22 million gallons per day Daboase water treatment plant. Strabag reports of 86% completion with an expected finish date of November 7, 2025.
All the main structures are finished. We are still working at the end. You see where is the crane, that the high lift pumping station. There is the building accommodating the pumps to transfer the water to Inchaban, the other pumping stations inside the tanks. Also, you cannot see anymore that all the tanks are quite deep in the ground. Now, as you see just what is the top of the iceberg you can see right now. But we are confident that we are in a good position to complete the plan.
Irama Smith, TV3 News, Dabuasi.
And you're welcome to our Labor Month stories. Let's bring you a first one where these days surviving on a single income feels like trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces. It is therefore no surprises that many Ghanaians are taking on more than one job just to make ends meet. For those that have 9-to-5 jobs, a passion project or side hustle just become more than a trend. It is the new normal. Aisha Yakubu Halit brings us a story on one man who's not just juggling 2 jobs but thriving while at it.
Hailing and baking to tutoring and delivery services, side hustles have evolved. They are no longer just something people do on the side. For some Ghanaians, they are a lifeline and sometimes the spark that ignites a bigger dream.
With this economy and whatever is going on in the world, a side hustle is good. Even if you are in your preferred job, I think you would need a side hustle for more money.
Everybody needs extra cash, yeah. So if I get it, I'll be happy, yeah, because it will bring me some more and to solve some of my problems.
I would also like a side hustle because I want to be able to afford the kind of lifestyle I want, to be able to take care of myself and then, of course, my family and loved ones.
But it takes real drive to balance both worlds. Daniel Sylvester Owusu is a 34-year-old who wears more than one hat and quite literally designs them too. By day, he is an accountant officer crunching numbers. By night, he transformed into a fashionpreneur, running a fast-growing clothing line.
I'm able to manage it in such a way that it is like it is my life. If I'm at the shop, I'm at the shop, full 100%. If I'm at work, and my people tell you, I think I make it a part of my life. And since it's part of my life, I don't feel like I'm leaving others or some part of my life behind. No, like have time for my family, have time for my friends, have time to chill. I do everything.
He has been juggling spreadsheets and stitch work for over 11 years. While his day job offers stability, his fashion business fuels his creativity and gives his pockets a little extra lining.
With time, if I have to actually concentrate on this, or if more opportunities come and then I have to go into this, yeah, that's basically the reason why it's a side hustle. These are, let me say, luxurious things. People traveling, they buy them, they kind of take it outside of the country. Yeah, so sometimes it's a bit low. Sometimes it comes in bulk. If people can buy 10, 20, yeah, it depends. You're not going to get the money every time, yes, but just know when it comes, it comes.
And he's not alone. Experts say side hustles are not just a trend. They are a shift, a response to an economy where one job often is not enough, and a generation of workers redefining what it means to earn a living.
It's a very common phenomenon in Ghana for many years now, but it's legalized. It's my prayer that in Ghana we'll begin to be a lot more proactive in ensuring that we give assigned rules that workers play at the workplace more clearly to them and very specific with timelines for delivery. And also we must make room for people who want to do part-time work elsewhere to do.
But the hustle is not without hurdles. Some employers frown on side gigs, and not all stories have smooth endings.
Ensure that your side work do not overly interfere with the work of the original company you work in. And even it is well documented in some companies that you can't use company's time or company's resources to do ABCD, it is counted as one of the offenses. And the employer can take action against you and recoup whatever losses they think they have encountered.
Of course, it is not all rosy. Running 2 demanding gigs means less downtime, less sleep, and the constant risk of burnout. But for many, like Sylvester, the bigger risk is doing nothing, watching dreams fade away while waiting for the perfect opportunity. For some, the side hustle might just be a stepping stone. For others, it is the dream quietly gaining ground until it finally takes center stage. Aisha Yakubu Khalid, TV3 News, Accra.
A very fascinating story indeed. We all should be thinking about side hustles if you look at the kind of lifestyle you want to live. But that'll be all for the morning news right here on TV3. Many thanks for joining us. And New Day continues right after this breather. My name is Safwa Abwahine. Have a wonderful week.